Hello again, this is Harry Wright, and this rash of videos that I'm producing lately, they are not just videos for the subject material that we mentioned, like education, training, coaching, and mentoring. They're not really meant to be educating you. As you can probably tell, the purpose of these videos is to just get me talking and to get me saying something, and to make sure that, whether scripted or unscripted, there's something coming out of me and it's going into this inanimate object here, this computer thing, with a camera staring at me. Now, what I've got to do is develop a sense of confidence to talk to this little bright light that's shining in my eyes, representing the actual camera, and I've got to make some sort of sense. Now, I'm afraid that I suffer quite a lot from hearing connecting to my speech. What I mean by that is, if I'm talking and someone else wants to say something and they do the slightest sound to interrupt me, I stop suddenly. Now, that applies to myself as well. So if I hear a noise that just distracts me, I'm totally distracted. And I have to wait and get back on track before I can continue. So I'm trying to overcome these sort of things while I'm talking to the camera, because one day, hopefully not too long in the future, I shall be talking about stuff that really is important and really doesn't need scripting, but comes straight from the heart, as it were. I want to make sure that I can actually convey this stuff over a period of time, hopefully not too long on a video to bore you, but long enough for you to pay attention and to not really be distracted by some of my antics. Well, here we go. What have I actually said so far? Absolutely nothing, apart from just give you the conditions under which I'm imposing something for myself. I'm trying to improve my video skills. And if you really want to know what the reason why I'm doing that, it's not that I've just suddenly sat there and thought, I'll improve my video skills. No, it's that I've just started on a new course. It's the Entre Institute. Entre Institute. ENTRE Institute. Now, the reason I repeat that is because it's a very well-known introduction to the word entrepreneur, ENTRE, but it's not something that came to me easily. But I'm not only slowly, but I'm very rapidly learning to respect the name and the brand, because it really represents something that's above all other things I've come across. I wouldn't be here otherwise. In fact, over the last 9 to 10 years, very nearly 10 years, I've tried virtually everything online. I've been self-teaching, trying to make sure that I've covered all types of things that can make you money, because that's what I'm after, by the way. Aren't we all? But I'm really keen on doing this as quickly as possible now, because I don't want to have wasted 10 years. I certainly haven't wasted it, but I've got to apply it. And it's the implementation of all this stuff that makes the difference. Now, I haven't really implemented like a small percentage of what I've learned in the last 10 years. So I came to this crossroads, and lo and behold, looking out, I came across this person online who said, how about Entre? And I said, pardon? And he said, what about Entre? Entre Institute. And I said, well, what's Entre Institute? And he explained to me that it's a cut above all others. And there's nobody who's complained about it. There's nobody who's offered any bad comments about it, which in this day and age online is a miracle. So my ears, senses were all focused, and he told me a little bit about it and said, it's for people like you. You've talked about this challenge that you've got about not being able to basically break through from this very small operating level where you've learned lots of tricks of the trade, and you can put all these systems together, you can make websites, you can do all sorts of things, but it's more like a little hobby than anything. You're proud of what you do, but for it to make money, you've got to invest. You've got to invest in yourself. You've got to prove that you're confident. You're not just got to do things confidently and over your own time. If you really want to make money, you've got to get started, get stuck in, and actually get some momentum going. Well, I have to say, it made me sit up and think and agree. I have to agree with that. It might be my last chance. Okay, I've said this a number of times on my videos. I'm already sort of over the hill, and I don't really want to go too far before I achieve something with my online skills and knowledge and attitude. SKA, all right? Skills, knowledge, and attitude. I'm harking back to the olden days when, before I retired many years ago, for about 30 odd years, I've been, if you like, on the other side of the desk, and I've been training people, coaching people, consulting. I've been helping, one form or another, people in and around technology. I've been mainly on the people side. I started off in a technical field, and I was an engineer, and I slowly developed towards realizing that you don't get anywhere these days unless you can understand and influence people. That makes sense? So here I am. I'll come back on the subject now, and I'll say I'm here really to try and show myself that I can, once I'm fired up, I can talk with great confidence about things that I've done, my experience, things that other people want to do, and that's really why I'm here, to help others, which indirectly helps me. So what we're looking for is a win-win situation. I need to be able to make videos about a subject that I know a lot about, and I know a lot about a lot of subjects. So here we are. What is training? Training is the delivery of this information in an agreed way. We all set off with training with a set of objectives. By the end of the session, you will be able to do something that you couldn't do before. Those of you who've been involved in any form of training, particularly in business, will recognize that little chat phrase. By the end of this session, you will be able to, and then you give the outcome. And at the end of the training session, what do? You go back through it and you review it. You say, so we have shown that you can do A, B, and C, and you run through the objectives that you set at the beginning of the session. So I'm talking here about demonstrating that I've actually been involved in training since, when was it? 1972? 1972. That was in the Royal Air Force. And it was really a step up, a fantastic course that I received from the RAF. And it was to do with training other airmen in the engineering that I was involved with, avionics. I was doing advanced electronics in those days, which, by the way, was thermionic emission type technology, the old valves, etc. And it was the airborne side, so to do with what equipment is fitted in airplanes. And I was training airmen between the ages of, 16, 17, up to the age of 30. And it was really the crucial stage of their career where they were having to learn their skills, their trade, and from there on, their life would be formed, just as mine was. I started then, anyhow, in 1972, having just come back from Germany, a tour in Germany, a 3-year tour in Germany, and I started at Royal Air Force Cosford. And I stayed in that training field for 12 years, and I thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed it. Oh my goodness. The interaction with the people, the knowledge that I attained in order to be able to deliver. They always say that inside this profession that if you really want to learn something thoroughly, you have to train it, and to train someone else, you really have to know it. If you've got a heart, that is, and you want to deliver something that's of great value to them. And that's what I did. I put my heart and soul into it. Wow, 12 years of wonderful culture. Just, there's nothing that beats it. Can you hear my son? He's just arrived back from a walk. I thought I'd just add all these sort of things together and let you see that somewhere in amongst all this stuff, we should be able to pick out the word training, and we should be able to recognize that I do know what training is all about. I've been a trainer, and different variations of training, and I've weaved it into about 2 or 3 different careers spanning 30, 40 years. And I'm hoping to, in fact, I'm intending to repeat this in one way. Repeat it in so much that I'm going back after retirement of 10 years. I'm going back and delivering again. So here we are. It's sleeves being rolled up. Get stuck in. Training is something that people should try. Do some training. Do some training if you really want to learn something. Train other people. You'll soon find out whether you know it. Okay. Now, the next subject I'm going to be covering in my next video will be coaching. And of course, I'm not going to define coaching now, but I'm going to make sure that you know where it fits. It fits after training, normally, and it's really to do with fine-tuning and being more dedicated to the individual. So if you really want to be coached, and you really want to be successful, and you really want to know what coaching is all about, tune into my next video. Take care.